Hello everyone and welcome back to our Artificial Intelligence lecture series. I am Nadia Patel. Let's get started with our today's lecture. We are going through the unit second, which is Introduction to Intelligent Systems, and in today's lecture we will go through what is the second component of intelligence, which is reasoning. I have already given you one introductory lecture on what components of intelligence are all about, and we have already seen learning, which is the first component of intelligence, and now in today's lecture we will see what is reasoning, its introduction, its first type. Again, reasoning has got many types of reasoning, but the two most important ones which we will require to complete this syllabus and we will require in our coming units is the first one, inductive reasoning, the second one, deductive reasoning, and some examples each. So this was in totality the components of intelligence. We have seen what is learning, which was a very important component, and in today's lecture we will see what is reasoning. So let us first understand what reasoning is all about. Again, reasoning is a very important, I can say, factor of intelligence. If someone is very good at reasoning, but the valid reasons which the person produces can help him a lot. If you're good at reasoning, that means that you're good at conclusions. So you can find a conclusion, that means you're good at reasoning. Your reasoning capability is good. I'm not talking about, or we are not discussing about people who keep on reasoning on silly things, not that kind of reasoning, but reasoning in terms of something where you conclude. Say for example, you are unable to pass your examinations. Instead of just sitting and blaming the situation, or just sitting and blaming the people around you, maybe my mom gave me this task and I was unable to study, my dad asked me to go out and work and I was unable to study, my friends came up with some distraction and I just lost my control over my studies, or finally the popular reason, teacher didn't teach properly, so that was the reason I failed. These are, we can say, blaming kind of reasons, and not something where you take hold of the situation and actually sit and study and then reach a conclusion that where did we went wrong. There can be certain circumstances which might emotionally, we can say, disturb you. There can be some certain circumstances which can mentally disturb you, and then this is the conclusion that I was unable to pass my examination. But sitting calmly and analyzing the situation, taking it as a problem and what was the thing which caused this problem, the root cause, and then concluding to something that yes, I was weak in certain subjects, I was unable to find a right timetable of study, and then this was the conclusion that this is the reason why I was not able to pass in my examinations. So the one who can reason in a valid direction, this is a very important statement which is going to help you in your studies as well as in real life. If you are finding, analyzing things and then concluding in a valid direction and then finding a right reason, you can work on that reason and finally achieve the ultimate goal. That's it. So reasoning is not just simply sitting and blaming situations and then finding out something and just disturbing your mental peace. That is not all about. It is about taking it maturely, analyzing it, sitting down and finding the root cause and then working on it. So this part of human brain, which is very important, I think success is very easy to accept and failure is very difficult. So if you are very good at acceptance, if you are good at accepting the situation it is and then working on yourself, that is a very good ability of brain. So this ability of brain is actually turned into theory, and then some algorithms are built under reasoning, and intelligent systems behave accordingly. So in our studies, the reasoning is the mental process of deriving conclusion, but it should be a logical conclusion, and making some predictions from available knowledge, facts and beliefs. Reasoning is a way to infer facts from existing data. It is a general process of thinking rationally. This is very important. One should always think rationally to find some valid conclusions. Go on concluding. Reasoning also refers to finding right conclusions. So if you are in a direction, find the right direction and find some valid conclusions. To reason, that is to draw inference. So according to theoretical terms, we usually say reason means just giving silly things as a part of situation. So that is different. But coming it to theory, reasoning is finding inferences, and inferences means conclusions. So you should find a conclusion which should actually justify the situation. Say for example, the pandemic situation. If you want to just sit and analyze our current situation of our country, or you can say state or our district, finding a right conclusion that where are we actually failing, what is the thing, is it the medical equipments like ventilators which are less in amount and then the situation is getting worse day by day, or is it the people who are behaving irresponsible and this is the reason which is spreading the pandemic and making it worse day by day. So sitting and drawing some conclusions, but this should completely justify the situation. We can't just simply sit and find some conclusions which could be like irrational, but sitting and finding some rational conclusions are very important. So to reason is to actually draw some inferences that fit with the provided situation. Now what exactly is this inference? Inference is a conclusion reached on the basis of evidence and reasoning. You should have some valid evidences in your hand. If you are saying that medical equipment is the reason why the situation is getting worse, then find evidences. Is it really the case? Go and search for the hospitals. Are really hospitals having lack of these facilities where usually they charge us, but in such situation they are saying that we don't have enough equipments. So is this really the case? You need to have some evidences. So this is what inference mean. It is the set of process that enables us to provide basic judgment, making decisions and predictions. So these reasoning things, or you can say finding inference, there are two ways to find inferences. So one is either you can go for a deductive inference or you can go for an inductive inference. So now let us understand what deductive inference is. First we will go through the inductive inference and then actually find and understand what is deductive inference. In inductive inference or inductive reasoning, it is a method of reasoning in which premises are viewed as supplying some evidence. Now what are these premises and why are they asking for evidences? So premises are nothing but assumptions. You can also say statements. General statements are also known as a premise. Actually these forms are, you can say that you can see these theories in science, maths and statistics. These three subjects have these theories of finding conclusions in their own way. So the way of finding conclusion in science is different. The way of finding a conclusion or reaching an optimal state in mathematics is different, and the way of reaching a conclusion or inferring in statistics is different. But all the three fields have got this part where they actually find conclusions. So premise comes in all the three subjects, in mathematics, in statistics, as well as in science. You can say that it is an assumption, but moreover, speaking in general terms, premises is statements. Simply, premise means statements. So then what are arguments? Certainly conditions and problems are viewed as arguments in artificial intelligence. So arguments require set of at least two declarative statements or propositions known as premises, and it requires another declarative sentence known as a conclusion. So to frame an argument, to frame a situation, you need to have at least one premise, that is one statement, or you can have more than one premise or more than one statement, and you need to have at least one conclusion. So on the basis of this conclusion, you can actually find, or you can actually judge whether the given premises are true, whether either of the premise, that is if you are having two premises, one is true, other is false, or you can directly reach to a conclusion if you are having only one premise. So in inductive inference, it is a method of reasoning in which the premises are viewed as some evidence. So here in this case, as I told you, you can say premise is a statement. There is one statement given, there is another statement given. In inductive inference, every statement or at least one statement is considered as a proof, which can help you to find a conclusion. So this is basic, but not full assurance of the truth. This is very important. Many times inductive inference, if you follow inductive inference and you are reaching to certain conclusions, you can't say that it is every time the fact, or conclusion reached by making use of inductive method is not always true, speaking in simple terms. So I usually term it as it is a less reliable type of inference. You can rely if the situation is worst and it is taking you to some conclusion, but many times you don't have full assurance that what conclusion we have reached is true. So this, just keep in mind that when you reach a conclusion using inductive inference, you cannot have full assurance that the conclusion is true. It conducts some specific observations and then makes a broad general statement. So inductive inference makes use of some general statements, but before reaching to general statements, it carries out certain observations. It is very closely related to statistical estimations. Inductive reasoning is a type of propositional logic which is also known as cause-effect reasoning or bottom-up reasoning. This is very important. So here, if you are actually following inductive inference method, the approach usually is bottom-up approach. So you will actually go on generalization. Like in generalization, if A is having class B and C, and A is the generalized class, B and C are actually supporting it. So we will first study B and C and then try to understand what A is, in spite of A being the generalized class. So in inductive reasoning, we use historical data. This is very important. And we make use of premises to gather or generate a generic rule for which premises support the conclusion. Let us again take one real life example. Again, speaking about the pandemic situation, I'm sorry, it is all over the head and the best we can say case study to study right now. We all are new to this situation, but our parents or our grandparents somewhere in their life have experienced epidemics. We haven't seen any of the epidemic, or you can say pandemic. This is a pandemic situation, but our parents and our grandparents especially have experienced epidemics like plague. which used to come, which there could be deaths, there was no medicine available, but with certain study and some people having conclusions, they dissolved it completely. So hardly we see any of the plague patients in India now. So that was the history. But we have certain historic data which actually tells us when any epidemic which is contagious, that means something which can transmit disease from one person to another comes up, there are certain measures or there are certain steps we can follow so that we can ensure our safety. So we are doing the same. Corona is a contagious disease, but its medium of contagiousness is different. So we are just keeping home, we are keeping safe, we are ensuring our and others' safety. So we only have some historic data like plague. Plague was an epidemic, and then they referred what exactly a country like India with many, you can say, huge population to have a control over such diseases did. So this was historic data. So further, they generated a generic rule on the basis of historic data. We are just assuming this is not the case, this is not how it worked in India, but I am just giving you a case study that if epidemic plague was something which India has experienced historically, they had certain data, they had certain measures where they ensured their safety. Studying those measures, they found certain generic rules, and that is what they applied, and we are just following it. With the help of that, they came or reached to certain conclusions. So this is what inductive reasoning does. So inductive reasoning actually again does not guarantee about the truth or the conclusion. So here you can again take example that when corona was actually introduced on social media platforms, and there were n number of things which were debatable. Some people agreed, some didn't. Some were actually claiming that it is not at all possible that this disease will actually survive in India because of the temperature which we experience in summers, and it was supposed that this virus can only survive or can only be active or alive if there is cold temperature. So people actually assumed it, they assumed this thing that this is the fact, and they had switched off the ACs, they had turned their rooms from AC to normal. So this was a conclusion. So and then now we found that after having a huge heaty kind of a summer in the last year as well as in this year, we are experiencing the second wave, and there are countries in world which basically have cold and winter throughout the year, and somewhere there comes spring. So such countries are now you can say corona free and mask free. So this is how it works, and this is what inductive reasoning or inductive inference is all about. So you cannot say always that the conclusions we have reached is true. Your conclusion is reached by generalizing, and this kind of approach, whatever I just spoke about, like if A is a generalized class and B and C are the classes, study the B and C and then you can conclude what A can be. So such type of bottom up reasoning is followed in science. Now let us go through some examples. So as I told you, a premise is a statement. So here they have given us a statement that all of the pigeons we have seen in the zoo are white, and the conclusion is therefore we can expect all the pigeons are white. So they have directly reached a conclusion without actually thinking that there can be a race of pigeons, there can be a type of pigeons which could be of different color, but just because the observational data, which is the data from the zoo, is that zoo is having white pigeons, on the basis of that they have concluded that all the pigeons are white. So basically inductive inference follows observation. They observed what is in the zoo, they find a pattern, they carve out a pattern out of it, they reach a hypothesis, that is they assume. So now they have assumed that pigeons are white, and then they propose the theory. So they reach a conclusion and propose a theory that all pigeons are white. Let us go through one more example. So again there is a premise, there is a statement. Previous accidents of this sort were caused by instrument failure. Say for example there is a factory which has experienced some kind of accident, and they have a historic data that such accidents caused due to instrument failure. So they have again assumed and reached a conclusion that even this kind of accident has caused due to instrument failure. Here they have not went on cross checking, like they haven't actually checked the facts, or they haven't actually went and found that really is this the truth. So here there is a benefit of doubt. You have a doubt, like maybe earlier there could be certain accidents due to instrument failure, and this accident can be different. So there are certain yes and there are certain no's. So here you have suspicious conclusions. So you can't say that every time reaching conclusion using inductive inference is true. Let us now further move and actually find out what exactly deductive inferences are all about. So deductive reasoning is also known as deductive logic. It is the process of reasoning from one or more statements. Now in inductive we just had one premise, but in deductive we will go through one or more premises, that is statements, and then reach a logical conclusion. This is a very important word. So deductive reasoning goes in the same direction as that of conditionals. Whatever conditions are given to you, it follows those conditions first and then tries to apply some logic, some rules, some formulas to it, and then reach certain conclusions. So it actually links the premises with the conclusions. So this is what it does. It actually applies the conclusions with the premise, checks them whether the facts are true or not, and then find a inference. If all premises are true, the terms are clear and the rules of deductive logic are followed. Finally, you can conclude, or you can actually reach certain conclusions which are true. These are actually necessarily true. So conclusions taken or found with the help of deductive inference are, you can say, always true. Unlike inductive inference, where you have some doubt on the conclusions in inductive, in deductive whatever conclusions you are getting are necessarily true. So you can rely, I call it reliable kind of inference. Deductive reasoning is deducing new information from logically related known information. So again here it will make use of the current information and the historic data and then apply certain logic to it. So when you apply some logic to it, you actually find, or you can say that you actually query and try to reach a conclusion. It is a valid reasoning, which means the argument's conclusion must be true when the premises are true. As I told you, it is going to apply the conclusion to the premise, or vice versa. It will just check whether there is some logic involved in it and then verify whether we are reaching the right conclusion or not. Deductive reasoning is a type of propositional logic in artificial intelligence, and it requires various rules and facts, and it applies these rules and facts and then reaches certain inferences or conclusions. Here it follows top-down approach. Inductive follows bottom-up and deductive follows top-down approach. In deductive reasoning, the truth of the premise guarantees the truth of the conclusion. So you have a guarantee if you're reaching some conclusion using deductive reasoning. You can have certain guarantee because there are some certain logics applied. There is something, some rules, some facts, and then you reach a conclusion. So this is reliable and it guarantees the truth. Now let us take one example. All human eats veggies. Suresh is a human, so the conclusion is Suresh eats veggies. So here we have taken or made use of premises and the conclusion. To check whether the conclusion is correct or not, you need to apply premise on it. All humans eat veggies. Suresh is eating veggies. Okay. Suresh is a human. Okay. So there is a connection between all the three and there is certain logic involved. If you draw some Venn diagrams and try to study it, you will reach the same conclusion. So this is how it works. Another example could be all men are mortal. So again, one more thing which you should observe is here we have made use of two premises. In inductive we had only one premise, so reaching conclusion was a little difficult, so we actually assumed and reached to a conclusion. But here you have one or more statements to study. So all men are mortal. The second statement is Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates is mortal. This is what the conclusion is. And here it follows a pattern of study, which is finding the theory first, then the hypothesis, that is assumption, then finding a certain pattern, and then confirming whether the theory and the hypothesis and the pattern is worth concluding. Then you can state a conclusion. So if you compare the two, one is bottom-up approach, which is the inductive. The other is top-down approach, which is the deductive. It went through the observation. It actually had the theory in front of it. It immediately drew some patterns, assumed and proposed the theory. But here, the proposed theory is studied first. Then certain assumptions are removed from it. Then a pattern is drawn and a confirmation is followed before actually concluding. So this is how it works. This was reasoning, inductive and deductive. Slightly difficult to understand, but once you study the examples, you will get to the point straight. So this was all about today's lecture. Thank you. I hope it was again easy to understand. Try to just make or write down certain examples for you so that you can reach some conclusions and then find which method did you follow, and always have rational thinking in your real life. Thank you.